All right, Victoria 3 fans, I got my new mod list up. This is stable for version 1.9.8, and I've got the JSON at my Discord. I've got a link to an actual list in the description below, and I don't do a Steam collection because it's just too hard to maintain. Don't tell me about how you have an easy time of it. I'm not you. Okay, having gotten all that out of the way, let's talk about my quest to find stable mods for 1.9.8. And I was having a lot of crashes with 198 that I didn't have in 197. And I was going through everything and trying to figure out, well, let me just take out ones I don't even think will be a problem and see what happens. And eventually I found, unfortunately, Hail Columbia was the one that was causing the crashes. I love the mod. It's got great flavor. It was crashing in 198, so I had to pull it out of my lineup. I hope to be able to put it back in, as well as this mod here, the Liberate Country as Subject. It's not yet been advanced for 198, so I do hope it does get fixed up, or maybe for 1.10, because this really, and really Paradox, this should be in the base game. I don't know if Paradox is listening or not, but this should be in the base game, things like this. And I've got another mod that I'm going to show, spoiler alert, it's at the bottom of the list over there, that does some cool things with wars that really need to be put in. They really need to be put in alongside all the fixes with colonization. They need to be put in. Oh yeah. But yeah, Liberate Country as Subject, sadly it's not available. And Hail Columbia I had to remove. So what did I add? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. Let's go through that. First of all, remove mobilized rulers from command. This actually came out a while back, and I may have mentioned in an earlier mod list video. This is still needed because there's a problem where if a ruler is in command of a military division that's mobilized, this needs, sometimes they got to get removed, and this does it. So I was having crashes without it. I don't have crashes with it, so I'm going to keep it until it gets fixed in some bug report. Next, Empires of History and Map mod. Oh my. I love the Lepsius map. Much props to the Morgenroth crew. Fantastic map, Lepsius, but oh, these maps here, there's 9 different maps available. They are very delicious to see, and I am using them in my current game. I like this map mod a lot. It is so beautiful. And I eliminate all the other stuff. I just want to see the pretty map. I don't need to see choo-choos or boats or any of that stuff. Anyway, going on. Services not local. Just like we have transportation not local and electricity not local, now we have services not local. What this means is we should stop getting all the error messages for such a province doesn't have enough services and you've got plenty in the one next door. Let them cross the border. Just get rid of the spam messages and move on with your life. It's not a tradable good, but it's not local within your empire, so services in one place can be able to handle services and needs in others. So this is a really good one to have here. Thank you, Androxy, for making it. Next, I hit colonies don't auto-join wars. Now, I found this one because I was just looking through what are some recent mods that are up there. Is there anything that looks like it could slot in? And this did. Because what this will do is means now if Britain is going to go to war, it can't drag the colonies in, only puppets. So the East India Company no longer sends 200 battalions to fight Britain's wars here and thither and yon. I know they kind of did in China, but not a huge amount. I mean, it's complicated, I'm aware. But I'm sick and tired of suddenly all these Indian troops showing up when historically that didn't happen until India was made a dominion. And if you are a dominion, you get to be dragged into wars from your overlord. But yeah, we don't really see huge numbers of Indian troops showing up for the Crimean War, the Boer War, things like that. So let's have this mod, please. Yes. And with that was also, let me go down here. Yeah, there it is. The Waddle War rework. Okay, so Waddle is the same guy that gave us the Colonies Don't Auto Join Wars. And this mod, Oh la la. It has some really cool things in here. He redoes the war exhaustion system. Now, I know I've got the one that's know when to hold them, and I think that might interfere with this particular one. I haven't tested it out. But the way that this one does war exhaustion, if you want to play with it, it's well worth looking here. It will also give more population unhappiness or radicalism if you lose battles, more loyalists if you win. So that's a good effect there. Then this comes out: enforce dismantle empire. Yes, that's a war goal that becomes available later on in the game and allows me to do great wars, at least in some sort of fashion. This is nice. I like seeing that. Paradox. We need these options. Victoria 2 had them. And when we said we wanted Victoria 3, we didn't want to give up any good stuff from Victoria 2. We wanted stuff fixed, like technology and supply and some other stuff. So get that. A Join Wars Treaty article, which will allow you to join all ongoing wars of the other. So you can write a treaty with somebody, hop in on the wars in the middle of the war. That's pretty cool there. You can't do it if you are allied to any of the opposite side combatants, or if they're your subjects, or there's restrictions on it, but that's still pretty cool there. There's also the transfer claims. So this would take all the claims in a region and give them to another country. I've actually seen this in my game where I think it was the Netherlands said, hey, we'll give up all our claims in this region if you give up all your claims in this region, and just we'll transfer them. Not just give up, but we'll transfer our claims from one to the other. Okay, but no, I'm bigger. I'm France. I'm always playing France when I test, and I'll talk about that later on. But yeah, that's still a cool thing there. And then some good stuff. Now, if you're more infamous, you have higher loans, and you lose your trade advantages. This is good. Nobody wants to trade with you if you're a jerk. So exceeding your infamy, this is nice to see. If you occupy an enemy capital, as long as they're of equal or greater rank, then you start to get to loot them and stuff. And then this, yeah, you get in on the map, and you, instead of seeing you've got 40 battalions against another 40 battalions, now you see what the manpower looks like, not just in the battles, but also just units that are on a front line. So if there is attrition and you're expecting, like, well, I've got 30 battalions, that's 30,000 troops, okay, and it says 25, then attrition and losses have impacted that unit, and you may want to pull it out now. This helps me understand what's going on in my battle. For this alone, it's worth the mod. Oh, mwah, chef's kiss. So this is a really cool thing to see. What else was cool to see? Well, the maker of the political and economic changes mod, where did that go? Whoops, I went past it, didn't I? Yes, here it is. Let me. Rhoda Chris has added some cool new stuff there. So now, based on the interest rates in your country, people will borrow more or will go into debt and have trouble more. And you get events to say, well, too bad they got to pay up, or have the government try to subsidize debt repayment, or maybe control things. It's interesting to see now we've got debt cycles introduced alongside economic cycles. As an economist, this should be in the game. Along with industry realism, paradox, just let it go. You're not going to port this to console. Just break everything out into multiple industries and have each industry produce one good and only one good. Please get rid of hardwood. Just make it all wood, because it's crazy what happens in the game. Let's get it down to what each industry makes one and only one good, and then that way we can plan out better. The AI can plan out. Everybody has a better time of making sense of this game. And you don't have to worry about all the clicks, because we're going to use our mice and we're going to use our keyboards, because this thing is never getting to console. Admit it. Admit it, Paradox. Come on. Anyway. But that should be in the base game along with industry realism. And what else should be in the base game? I really think Morgan wrote. These are my three must have mods. I've got to have them. If I've got some situation where they can't load, I am sad. And when I was testing this, I played a game without PEC and Morgan wrote, and I was sad. It was like, yeah, it's not crashing, but I want to, I want to have debt cycles. I want to have uh, booms and busts. I want to be able to have. I want to conquer Egypt, not for the stuff that's in there. I want to conquer it for the pyramids and the Valley of the Kings and deny them to my enemies, or charge them to come and excavate. I want Morgan Road because of the great art, science, and sport flavor that it adds to the game, and they have been adding more content. It's great fun. The mountaineering is chef's kiss again. This is good fun stuff here. Okay, so I wanted to go into all this, and like I said, links below for my Discord and where the list is online in case you don't want to download a JSON file. You just want to click each link individually. That's fine. And I play France because I test these mods, and I know my France game strongly. And being able to play it over and over and over again, I can feel like what a mod is doing or not doing or adding or removing from the game based on that experience. If I just kept playing a different country every time, I'd try out mods and go, well, I guess this one's worked. I don't know. But by playing France over and over again, I know, okay, hold on here. I'm not able to buy as much as I used to in the other versions, or I have to manage my construction better. And really, what I do have to manage construction a lot better. I think it is the mods that I have here, or also changes made in 1.9 something. And this gets to how people will say, well, I don't want to play a larger country because I just don't think it's much of a challenge. Oh, it is. With these mods, it is. Especially PEC. Because there, if you just build with Insanity, you're going to have a huge economic bust. Your populations are going to get even more angry with you when they can't pay their debts, and they become much more radical. And then when they become more radical, then you can't collect taxes. When you can't collect taxes, you go into default. And when you go into default, you spiral downward. You have to devalue your currency. That gives you a temporary reprieve. But if you don't make your people happy again by lowering those taxes, you're going to be back in another spiral, and then there's no escape from that one. Because this happens historically. And that is able to simulate it. So, yeah, France is a big challenge when you're playing with these mods. And so is Germany. I played with that one. Germany and France are the ones I play with the most to see what the mods are doing. And I think once we get to 1.10, where it's got more population mechanics involved, I may want to do a German run just to see how that goes with those new mechanics. It's going to be very interesting. But yeah, this is my mod list. And I'll go back to playing games now that I've got this all figured out, because it takes a long time. I have to go through like dozens of hours to get a good stable mod set figured out, because if I don't crash after the first hour, okay, but what about the second or third? Am I due for a mid-game crash? I don't know. So I got to play a long time, and yes, when I finally have a clean experience on Speed 5, and when I can load an old game and not have it crash on me, them's a good mods. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind, though. When you're getting new mods, you have this little mod library here on your Steam launcher. Wait for that, whatever circle is going around there, wait for that to finish before you start the game at all, because it's syncing up your mods. It's getting them set up right. Let it wait. Let it wait. And it may be a while if you've downloaded a whole bunch of mods. Let it wait. Just be patient, and you will be rewarded, because it's got to load all those in. If you have old save games, definitely do delete those before you start on a new mod pack. Because the old ones, if they're invoking a mod that you don't have in your lineup anymore, problem. You don't want that problem. So yeah, make sure the little spinny finishes, and make sure that your old save games get deleted. and then you're fine. Now with this particular mod here, the war one, that where you get the numbers, the first time I loaded it, I didn't see these. I still saw battalions. I thought maybe I'm doing something wrong. But when I loaded after finishing that session and starting a new one on the same save game, then the 38K, 28K all showed up. And a side note, if it's less than 1,000, it'll just be the number itself. So I saw like I had 15K against 258 and thought, oh no, I'm outnumbered. Wait, no, that's 258 total, not 258K. 15K to 258, I think they're outnumbered. We're okay. We're fine. So yeah, you may have to step out and step back in. I don't know, but yeah, it was a good one there. So yeah, that's how I test. That's what I'm doing. I'm now going to be able to get back to playing the game for about a month before they release 1.10, and I'm excited for that. So hope you have fun. Hope you have a good experience. Like, comment, subscribe, and make sure you never get cut off in the middle of a sentence, because that can be really irritating, especially if you're doing it to yourself, because you should be in control and you shouldn't be cutting yourself off in the